real briefly, I wanted to talk about Gucci Mane. So we had this conversation. We talked about Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty, and I just wanted to point something out here because I know the conversation right now is whether or not Gucci gonna tell. Obviously, there's people trying to say that Gucci is telling. There's people trying to say that Gucci, is cooperating, but it has resurfaced that Gucci Mane ain't talking to nobody. They saying Gucci Mane not gonna cooperate. They said Gucci Mane's not saying anything. He's not testifying. He ain't gonna do none of that shit. Now, since there's been a lot of shit popping up with other celebrities basically talking about the situation, some showing support for Gucci, some just staying neutral, but who knows where this shit gonna go. This is the point I wanted to make with this. Gucci Mane is kind of in a predicament right now because although Gucci can come out and say, I don't want to speak to nobody, I don't want to talk to nobody, I don't want to cooperate at all, that's gonna put Gucci Mane in a crazy spot. And here's what I mean by that. Gucci Mane is gonna be in a crazy spot because Gucci Mane, remember, Pooh Shiesty's whole reason for doing this was to get out of his contract. And ultimately, for survival, right, Gucci Mane signed the fucking contract. Well, he signed a document to basically get him out of that contract, right? Yeah, my bad, RD. RD signed to get him out of that contract. And the thing that hangs on to that is whether he did it under duress. It's not legally binding at that point because you did it under duress. They threatened you. You have to do it at your own will, right? Now, here's the thing though. For Gucci Mane to prove that that's what happened, he gotta admit that he had guns pointed at him and he feared for his life. If Gucci Mane can't admit that, guess what? The contract is valid. That document is valid at that point because the only thing that makes it invalid is the fact that you did it under duress. But if you can't admit that you were being pressured to sign that, it's valid. So at that point, Pooh Shiesty would have basically succeeded, right? If you Gucci Mane, do you let this shit go? Does your ego allow you to let this shit go? And I know what people gonna say. They're gonna say, let it go, handle it in the streets. Maybe that's a possibility, but does your ego allow yourself to let this shit go and not make this money because you don't want to snitch? It's a dilemma that he in because do you leave that money on the table? We all know Shiesty is one of the big earners for 1017, right? Shiesty the big earner for 1017. He's probably one of their biggest artists right now. So do you let that money go for the sake of not telling? I'm just saying, man, Gucci gonna have a lot of shit to figure out with that because he got two options. He could say, yo, that document ain't valid because I was under duress. Or he could say, I ain't talking. So they're gonna be like, okay, that contract is valid. He out of the damn contract. So now that he out of the damn contract, they probably gonna violate Pooh Shiesty for something. He gonna get violated from his PO. And how much time that entails, I don't know. But if Gucci Mane don't tell, guess what? Pooh Shiesty, when he do get out or whatever, if he even goes, because you never know. You know how shit be these days. That nigga gonna come out on top and you ain't gonna hear the end of it. It's gonna be in every song and he gonna be out his contract. And ultimately what he did, even though people are calling it stupid, is gonna be ultimately something that got him out of his contract. Now what that means moving forward, how Gucci Mane looks at it, how they look at it, how they approach it, I don't know. But shit gonna get damn near gonna get interesting at this point. This guy is a lawyer who normally speaks on this shit. Let's see what he said.
Pooh Shiesty update. I'm gonna play the clip. The clip puts to bed any idea that Pooh is cooked. You're gonna hear Big 30's lawyer talking about Gucci's plans on testifying. For good measure, the reporter from a respected news outlet out in Texas saying the FBI hasn't exactly heard from Gucci. Check this out.
Interesting thing that we've seen in the last couple of days is that Gucci Mane has come out publicly and said that he's not cooperating with the government.
He's not cooperating with the government. So listen, as much as people are saying, yo, them niggas dumb, they was stupid, that was dumb, this was a stupid thing, this just might get away with this shit. I'm just telling y'all, man. Kobsani said Gucci don't need to testify as the other people who got robbed is a different story. That is a good point. Those guys who are actually gonna say what they saying, they could say what they say, and that could mean bad news for Pooh Shiesty and company. But again, in Gucci's mind, he don't probably care about no criminal charges because code of the streets. But I know he care about that contract. Let's say they subpoena Gucci to come in and say some shit. Like, who knows where this shit goes? I don't know, man. But it's getting tricky.
And it is worth noting that last week we did hear from an FBI agent who said that he had not heard from Gucci Mane either. He also noted that there were no working video cameras inside this recording studio at the time of this incident.
Okay, there y'all go. There y'all go. Shout out to Chocolate Tide. Just subscribe. Let's go.
Bang.
What up, Ty?
Bang.
Shit like that. Shit like that.
Thank you, Ty, for consistently re-upping. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. One time with Chocolate Tide. My setup wasn't working, so we couldn't play Atlanta, you know? It wasn't no coming together on that because my setup, I had some technical difficulties, but I got y'all next time.
If Gucci does not testify, the question of is Pooh cooked comes down to 2 paragraphs in the complaint plus 1 picture. I'll show them to you and walk you through it. What's very interesting about the picture is this is not like what you might imagine the recording studio looks like with a couch, a bunch of buttons and boards, a glass plate, and then boom, the recording area directly in front of you. It looks like the recording area is somewhat off to the side, completely enclosed. It is not at all clear that anybody in the control room could actually see into the studio, and it's definitely clear that there could be people in parts of the control room who would not be able to see into the recording area at all. What does that mean? Well, we know the security guards were outside in the hallway, and we know that the only people who were in the control room were the business people. Gucci is inside the recording studio. When you read paragraph 21 and you read paragraph 22, it's funky. It doesn't exactly make a lot of sense. So if you read it, I want you to follow along. They say Big 30 barricades the door to the studio. They say that the security guards try to barge in, and when the security guards barge in, they get a peek and they see that they're outnumbered by the armed target suspects. It does not say that they are outnumbered by an armed Pooh Shiesty.
Huh, interesting.
Instead, they lump Pooh Shiesty in with the whole group of target suspects, suggesting that the security guards only saw other people, not Pooh with the gun. Later, where it's alleged that...
And that's needed because obviously that would be a direct and instant violation for Pooh Shiesty.
Pooh has the gun. He's allegedly holding it to the back of the head of one of the business people. And so, if there's anybody here other than Gucci who seems like they could put Pooh away, it's going to be one of the business guys. And so that's going to be ultimately, that guy's testimony seems to tell you where this entire case is headed. Everybody on the internet, I know you want to be so right, but the accused, when they get the full weight of the feds on them, deserve more than banter and gossip. Now that you have some facts from my video, you could go ahead and gossip about what that means, about how this is going to play out, because this shit's about to get crazy.
This shit gonna get wild because it's unpredictable. We don't know where this shit gonna go. We don't know who gonna talk. We don't know who gonna say what. But I do know that Gucci is in a very interesting position with all of this shit, and it'll be interesting to see how they play this. The fact that they didn't have no surveillance footage in that entire place is just insane to me. I would imagine you would want that in a studio, but hey, that's just me. Oh well.
It's fun to do bad things.
Take off the shred now, take off the dope, take off the broken bag. Take all that goes on, that bullshit off, and what do you